The evening routine that changes everything, Seneca's nightly review stoicism. Every night, one of Rome's most powerful men put himself quietly on trial. No lawyer defended him. No audience watched. He examined his own day, hid nothing from himself, and then, he said, he slept sweetly. That man was Seneca. And the habit that gave him such peace costs you nothing but 10 honest minutes before bed. Seneca described this practice in his essay on anger. He borrowed the idea from an earlier teacher, and he made it his own. When the lamp was taken away and the house fell silent, when his wife had learned to hold her tongue and let him work, he would go back over his whole day. Every word. Every choice. Every moment he lost his temper or held it. He asked himself what he had done badly, and what he could have done better. He did not flinch. He did not lie to make himself feel good. He faced the record as it was. And here is the strange part. This nightly reckoning did not torment him. It freed him. A mind that has settled its accounts sleeps deeply. A mind that avoids itself lies awake. Think about why this works, because it is not just an old man's ritual. It is a law of how experience actually teaches. The day itself teaches you nothing. You can live 1,000 days on autopilot and be no wiser at the end than you were at the start. Experience is not the teacher. Reflection on experience is the teacher. The events pass through you like water through a pipe, and unless you stop and look, nothing is caught, nothing is kept, nothing changes. The review is where the day is turned into wisdom. There is a second reason it works, and it has to do with anger. Seneca knew that anger is like hot metal. In the moment, it is molten. It burns whoever it touches, including you. But given a little time and a little honest attention, it cools. When you replay the argument at night, calmly, the fury that felt so justified at noon looks smaller. You see your own part in it. You see the exit you missed. And by naming it while it is still soft, you keep it from hardening into a grudge you carry for years. Resentment is anger that was never reviewed. And there is a third reason, maybe the most practical of all. Tomorrow is not decided tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is decided tonight. The person who reviews the day goes to sleep already knowing what he wants to do differently, and that intention is waiting for him when he wakes. Most people drift into the next day and repeat the last one. You can do better than drift. So here is a modern version of Seneca's practice, in 5 steps. Step 1. Close the day deliberately. Most days do not end. They just stop when you run out of energy and fall into your phone. The scroll is not rest. It is avoidance with a screen attached. Instead, pick a small signal that tells your mind the day is over. Turn off the main lights and leave one lamp. Put the phone in another room. Sit down, or lie down, and let the noise settle for a moment before you begin. This is not wasted time. It is the doorway. Seneca waited for silence on purpose, because you cannot examine a day while you are still inside its momentum. You are not trying to relax yet. You are trying to draw a clean line under the hours you just lived, so you can look at them from the outside instead of being swept along inside them. Close the day, and the review becomes possible. Step 2. Ask the 3 questions. This is the heart of it. Slowly, without rushing, ask yourself 3 things. What did I do well today? Where did I fall short? And what will I do differently tomorrow? Take them in order and answer honestly. Start with what you did well, because you are allowed to notice your own decency. Maybe you were patient with a difficult person. Maybe you did the hard task first. Name it. Then the harder question. Where did you fall short? Where were you sharp, lazy, cowardly, careless? Do not soften it, but do not dramatize it either. Just see it. Finally, the question that turns reflection into change. What will you do differently? Not everything. One thing. Be specific. Not I will be a better person, but I will not check my phone during dinner. The 3 questions are simple on purpose. Simple enough to do every single night. Step 3. Judge yourself like a fair judge, never a cruel one. This is where most people ruin the practice, so listen closely. Seneca did not stand over himself with a whip. He stood over himself like a good magistrate weighing a case. A fair judge is honest about the crime, but he is also fair about the circumstances. He does not sentence a man to life for a small mistake. When you find where you fell short, describe the action, not your whole character. You told a small lie. That is different from you are a liar. You skipped the workout. That is different from you are hopeless. The fair judge names the fault, assigns a proportionate correction, and then lets the person go free to try again tomorrow. Cruelty feels like rigor, but it is actually useless. A person who expects to be savaged every night will simply stop showing up to court. Firmness keeps the practice alive. Contempt kills it. Step 4. Set one intention for tomorrow. You already found it in the 3rd question, so now make it concrete. An intention is not a wish. It is a decision made in advance, before the pressure of the moment arrives. Say it plainly to yourself. Tomorrow, when my coworker interrupts me, I will pause before I answer. Tomorrow I will start the report before I open my email. Attach it to a specific situation you know is coming, because a vague good intention evaporates the second real life pushes on it. One intention is enough. If you fix one small thing each night, you have changed 365 things in a year, and no one becomes wise faster than that. You are not reinventing yourself. You are steering, one gentle correction at a time, in the quiet before sleep. Step 5. End on gratitude for something ordinary. Do not close the book on a note of judgment. Close it on a note of thanks. And make it something small, because the small things are the real ones. Not gratitude for your health in the abstract, but for the warm cup of coffee that actually happened this morning. For the friend who texted. For the fact that your bed is warm and the day is done. The Stoics taught that most of what we long for, we already have and simply fail to see. Gratitude is how you see it. And it does something practical too. It sends you into sleep with your attention on what is good rather than what is lacking, which is a far better place to leave your mind for the night. Now, 2 mistakes to avoid, because they are the ones that destroy this habit. The first mistake is turning the review into self-attack. Some people here examine your faults and immediately reach for the whip. They lie in bed and replay every failure like a prosecutor with a grudge. That is not the Stoic review. That is anxiety wearing the mask of discipline. Remember, Seneca slept sweetly after his. If your review leaves you tense and sleepless, you are doing it wrong. You have become the cruel judge, not the fair one. The point is to settle accounts and rest, not to reopen every wound. The second mistake is skipping the review after a bad day, exactly when it matters most. This is the great temptation. After a good day, reflection feels pleasant. After a day where you snapped at someone, wasted your hours, and felt like a fraud, the last thing you want is to look at it again. So you numb yourself instead and hope tomorrow forgets. But the bad days are the ones with the most to teach. The unexamined bad day comes back. It repeats itself next week, and the week after, because you never stop to learn from it. Reviewing a hard day is not punishment. It is how you make sure you only have to live it once. So tonight, when the house goes quiet, try it. Close the day. Ask the 3 questions. Judge yourself fairly. Choose one thing for tomorrow. Give thanks for something small. 2,000 years ago it gave one of the busiest men in Rome the one thing his emperor could not command. A clear conscience, and a sweet sleep. It is still available. It is still free. And it starts tonight.